Hello everyone, this is Paul from Arsenal LCG, and I know I haven't made a video, but I figured it's time to make a new one for the upcoming convention in Tampa. How you doing? So, I know I've been kind of radio silent for a little while. Lots of things going on. I have traveled across the country, I have been all around, and I've been working on a different project for a little while, but that is not going to keep me from Arsenal LCG being a presence at TCGCon in Tampa. Actually recently went to the West Coast and managed to get a store interested in the game, which was really cool. But what I'm doing today is a bit of a treat. So you are about to see the R&D level that I do for the game. So hopefully you guys kind of enjoy this little bit of behind the scenes. I'm going to talk a little bit about each of these cards and what I'm trying to do with them, and I plan on doing a small video like this every single day for the next couple days to introduce you to the new characters. So without further ado, let's move on to the other screen. They're going to be a little small because, again, we're in R&D phase, but you'll see. And also, these are images that I've been posting on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. So if you're interested, you can follow me there, and you'll get a sneak peek before these videos go live. But now let's take a look. So over here, we have the first of one of our characters here. And again, the first thing that I wanted to do was have some diversity. So one of the biggest changes that I did was I did not pair the techniques with certain finishers again. This was done to add some more variety to the game. So this character will be a axe user, a martial user, a finisher user, and a charge user. So this is the first time that finishers and charges have been put together on a card, and they have 50 life as per normal. This is actually indicated based on the technique that the character has. So if they have charges, they will have 50. If they have heals, they'll have 40, and if they have gems, they'll have 45. The art is still pending, and as well as that, we have the first ability revealed, which is a 4-cost ability, and it's Bulwark. Now this has already existed in the game, but this is an axe user that also has martial arts and Bulwark, so they should be fairly defensible, and that's pretty cool. So moving past him, we'll move on to the next of the axe users, and this one has axes, shields, gems, and drivers. So if you notice, if you follow the game or you're interested, Navanas in the first set is pretty much the exact same mirror of this card, just this one has drivers as opposed to having finishers. And this one is the first of 3 abilities that all cost 0 that are not soul charge or spirit charge from the first set. I have taken that away in this set in favor of adding 0-cost abilities to gem users. Something that I noticed with the first set is while the cards are usable, having gem users have extremely high-costed abilities are very difficult to pull off. It's not going to change anything in the future for those gem users, but that have already existed. But the new gem users kind of are adapting to having gems in the deck, but these are still under test. So everything you're seeing here is still subject to change over time. We have not finalized anything directly. I've actually done a test play with these cards and already realized that some changes need to happen. I might mention some of that in here, but this one has Gem Striker, which says for 0 charge, you can put up to 2 times before combat, you can put the top card of your deck into damage. And until the end of combat, all gem cards in your hand gain +1 power. So what that means is that you can do this 2 times to make gems into effectively swords, but it costs you 2 cards. And what I've noticed in testing is that 2 cards to get 2 value on attack, as of right now, has never been profitable. Or at least on another card's case. I have not actually used Gem Striker, but I may tweak the actual scaling for this over time. Moving on to the next one, we have so it jumped a bit. Where's my okay, here we go. So we have our axe and our gauntlet and flurry and healer. So this is the first time that flurry attacks have been with healing cards. So this could clog up your hand, but they also keep you safe in a pinch, and it's the first time that a flurry user has had a lower life total. and this one just has basic memory. However, this is memory on a healer, which means that you can discard those healing cards to get new cards from your discard pile that you've already used. So it could be very, very, very profitable. This character has very little defense, though, seeing as they are an axe and a gauntlet user, so they are very subject to being KO'd quickly. Anyway, moving on to the next one, we have our first staff wielder, which this one is staff, gauntlet, gem, and driver. So this character is also another semi-parallel to that of Surette from the first set, except instead of having heals, it has gems. And this is the second of the gem abilities that cost 0 that I have added to these cards. So Gem Healer says once before combat, discard 1 gem card from your charge zone to discard 1 card of the same tier from your damage zone. So what this means is that if you use gems in combat, you have the ability to heal yourself now. So it's actually this one may stay exactly how it's worded, because this is extremely profitable. If you manage to use a high tier gem, you may be able to heal off a high tier damage card. So it can play into its own advantages. And again, everything you're seeing here is subject to change. These cards are not guaranteed to be exactly what they are, but this is the R&D level of the cards. Moving on to the next one, we have our Staff, Marshal, Healer, and Flurry. So this is actually 2 unique combinations. So Staff and Marshal was formerly on Briere, and we've never had Healing and Flurry until this set. So this is a wholly unique card. I kind of call this one the Easter egg because the weapon wheel looks like an Easter egg to me, because it's all pastels. But anyway, 40 life staff user with Warcry. So we have another staff user with Warcry that is going to exist in the game. I realized this as I was developing it. Again, things can change, but this character is going to be exceptionally difficult to deal with, as they have good offense and defense capabilities, and they can flurry attack and they can heal. The only thing is, I'm worried that those heals in the hand are going to compromise flurry attacks, or vice versa. So either way, the next and final staff user is a staff user with shields as well as charges and finishers. I think that this is going to be a phenomenally powerful combination of cards, because we've already seen staff and shield before with Con S, and charges being able to ramp you into those finishing blows are going to be exceptional. So you're going to get a bit of the best of both worlds here. But also, you can see, I believe this is the second to last of the new low tier abilities, which is Flourish. So before, we have had Memory, which recovers a card from the discard pile, and we have also had Brandish, which allows you to draw and discard. But now we have Flourish, which is you can shuffle 1 card in your hand back in the deck and then draw 1 card. So this is a way to get rid of finishing moves if you don't have the charge to use them. This is a way to get rid of charge cards if you've already charged up and you don't want to have them clunking in the hand. It's fairly useful. So that is Flourish. Moving past that, we're moving into swords. So finally, we have swords. So this is another Flourish user, and they have sword, martial arts, as well as finishers and heals. So we have a finisher healer mix, which I believe this is the first time in the expansion that I'm showing you that you see this, and I believe that this is nothing's wholly unique, but this is a sword finisher. Formerly was Tagore, and a sword martial artist is Tofris. So having the heals means that you get a bit of each of the advantages that the characters had. And like the previous card, this one also has Flourish, but I do believe that Flourish is going to be exceptionally powerful on this particular character due to heals, because it means that you can pay 2 charge to get those heals out of your hand and not have to deal with them. I believe we only have 2 more, so we have sword and shield and driver and charges here. So charging up means that you can drive like crazy, and being able to block as well as attack is always beneficial. So this is like a more, again, this is going to be a faster, more durable, like faster in terms of charge of Rosnoy. because this is the same card as Rosnoy pretty much, except he does not have heals. He now has charges, so this character is going to be quite powerful. And they have Oath of Blood, which is before combat. You can place the top card of your deck into damage and draw 2 and discard 2. So it's effectively a more costly but more accelerated brandish that costs you a card. So costs you a card in damage. So that's pretty good overall. And then finally, we have our last of our cards here. We have the final gem user. And this one is Sword and Gauntlet and Flurry attacks as well as charges, or as well as gem cards. So this card has pretty much all the pieces of Tagore mixed with flurry attacks instead of finishers. So this could grow to be a bit of a problem. I'm worried that he might be a little too vulnerable, but with Gem Breaker, maybe he won't. And this is the first one where I noticed that we might need to do some tweaking, because Gem Breaker is pretty much the opposite of Gem Striker, which is up to 2 times before combat, place the top card of your deck into damage, and until the end of combat, all gem cards in your hand gain +1 block. So I'm working on figuring out whether or not this is balanced or not, and if it is not, then it is not, and I will tweak it to be stronger. But I wanted to at least give a brief update to these 9 characters. I will do a video like this on each of the days leading up to the rest of the week. This is to allow some people to get an idea of kind of how the new characters are going to look. I'm hoping to potentially have these by January. I'm not sure. If it is not January, I will have them by the next convention. And I am also dabbling in the idea of trying to release the remaining 3 weapon sets for the primary weapons. The problem with primary weapon sets is that you have to come up with something interesting for them, and you have to come up with brand new characters, and it's a lot to add an entire new set of 3 weapons to the game. I know I have the demonstration pieces. Everybody's aware of bow and arrows as well as tomes. We will finally, I'm going to announce here semi-formally, the final weapon set is called polearms. So again, I can show those at the convention to try to show you some stuff that's brewing, but those do not even have roughed out characters yet. That will potentially be set 3, just because of the undertaking of getting brand new characters made. Because being able to do stuff with basic weapons is a lot faster. But in each case, it's getting the art, it's also getting the cards broken down to actually work where they are functional. So either way, that is the brief update for Arsenal LCG. I apologize for the amount of radio silence that has been going on. I have been doing a lot lately. If you're interested in any of that, you can always catch me on Twitch under Wheel of Games. I'm on there pretty much every single weekday, and I apologize for the delay for getting new information out to people. But thank you for your time. I appreciate you staying and listening to me, and have a good rest of the day. Bye-bye.